Welcome back, everybody, to the coverage of the championship division of the Scrabble Players Championship 2025, live from Hanover, Maryland. We have one heck of a matchup. Both players 7-2 after 9 games. Joey Mallick, Kenji Matsumoto. I am here with Matt Canik all day. 2 more games before lunch. This one is a great one.
Indeed it is, and Kenji Matsumoto, with his last round win, coupled with a couple other results, including a Carl Johnson loss, means Kenji Matsumoto is currently in first place in this event. Joey Mallick in third based on point differential. These are 2 of the 4 players at 7-2, the others being Mac Miller and the aforementioned Carl Johnson. Big stakes early on in this one, but it should be no surprise that these 2 players are near the top of the standings, both rock solid Scrabble players, right, Josh?
Right, and we haven't yet seen Joey on stream, so it's a great time to showcase his very, very impressive Scrabble skills. Joey was my opponent in 2023 in the best of 5 finals. One heck of a player, so he's back. He's back for more. He's going to try to take it down this year. So is Kenji. This is an important game.
Indeed it is. We saw Kenji on stream yesterday against Carl Johnson, and in what looked like a very tough-to-lose game, Carl stole the game away from Kenji with the big late play. Kenji waved to the camera and said, "I just blew a game on stream." So hopefully Kenji's able to regather his wits after that. Joey to play first, DEHIOTV. What do you think of Josh?
I think I would play Hived here. Just take the points, keep OT on my leave. But it's interesting that Joey's considering playing video. That might actually be a better choice. Keeping the HT combination, those letters go well together. It is a small sacrifice of 4 points. I think both of those players are very strong.
Hived does take a new front hook. It takes an S to make shivved in this lexicon, so that perhaps is what's holding him back. Though I think that's a small concern. Hived just feels much stronger. 6 extra points is an awful lot.
Oh, it's 6 points. Yeah, okay. So I'm playing Hived. Yeah, I miscounted there. Yeah, Hived being 32. Wait, no, wait. Yeah, 32. And no hesitation here after video. One of the issues with this play is that the overlaps are a lot easier. After Hived, that V would have cut off overlaps like this one. So Foxy coming down immediately for 55 is that.
Goodness, yeah.
So that's a great start for him. Let's see what Joey draws out of the bag. HT is pretty good together, but he drew a second T and all 5 consonants. That is very, very bad and very unfortunate for Joey Mallick.
He might actually play through, though. This is interesting. He can score 34. Just SH, ifs, and DOH leaves the abysmal LNTTW. He can fight through in one other way. Next through the EX is 12 and sets up the back S hook. Or he can exchange. What are you thinking, Josh? 34, 12, or 0?
Yeah, I think that next might be a really interesting option long term because you are setting up that S hook and you're basically preventing Kenji from doing anything next turn if he doesn't have an S. So blocking all the overlaps. And if you draw a couple of two vowel combinations, like if you draw wealth, if you draw whistle, you will be able to bingo a lot of the time.
Indeed. Interesting. I have no idea what I do here. Like, my gut says don't take the 34 with SH, but then if I score 0 and don't pull a bingo next turn, I'm going to be pretty upset that I didn't take 34 last turn. SH is so defensive, too, unless my opponent has exactly the 2-letter combination they need to front hook EX and OY. Joey's going to take the points.
Yeah, this checks out. Joey likes to score points. So do we all. But in a situation like this, Kenji is not going to know that Joey has 5 consonants. So he's going to be remiss, or he's going to be a little bit reluctant, I should say, to maybe open the board after this play. And if you don't open the board, what do you do here if you're Kenji?
Oh man, this is a tough turn into MOO. He's pulled AAEP. Apo and Ash doesn't give much back, actually. It does open the board a little bit. Kenji, I think, about to make that play, and then he pulls back. Unless your opponent has an O or a U and the right stuff to front hook the P, this is actually pretty strong.
Yeah, and it's a funny situation where I feel like both players are going to feel like they're slightly behind in this position. Joey with a 5-point lead, but Kenji on turn with 5 vowels, nothing great to show for, no blank, no S. Joey has drawn very well. He's drawn an E and a Y, so not quite 2 vowels, but this is going to allow him to score pretty well. Right now, I'm seeing he could play just 20, making toy, which is a great way to just get rid of all of the junk at once.
And setting it up right on cue. Boy, that is a tough 6 to spot 20, but Joey is a great word finder and a great player all around. He spotted this 7 points ahead of anything else he can do on this turn, according to our engine. Nice play from Joey.
What's great about this is it scores 20 points plus the 6 for toy. So the word itself scoring the number, people in chat will love that. So
That's sick.
a little bit of nerdiness here. Back to Kenshi with AEIIMNO. He needed that L, but that was the only tile that Joey kept on his rack. No Manilier for Kenji Matsumoto. He's going to probably overlap with something like MOI. What else are you seeing, Matt?
AMIE above 20 scores 31. INO is not the strongest leave, but you are undoubling your eyes. The problem with AMI is it could get hit very, very, very hard by like TED bingos or anything basically. SER bingos, RES bingos, like so many things are going to crush you on top of a me. I might actually be looking to play elsewhere on the board. MONIE plays on the left side of APO with 3 overlaps, mash, op, and no for 29. So Kenji's got to pick one of the 2 spots on the board to play on. He's going to choose the points. A me for 31. As long as he doesn't get doubled on, this one's going to check out.
Yeah, this is definitely a little bit dangerous. Pretty easy to overlap this with an E. EME is valid, and so many words have an E in 6th position. You can see an EDER, ES word coming down some percentage of the time. But in Kenji's position, he knows Joey's rack is pretty random, and this is his highest score. I think this is the right play. Back to Joey with 6 consonants. So he thought he got out of the trouble, but here we are.
He's not in as much trouble as it seems. He's actually got good plays available as long as he notices that he can put his G behind the IN on this board. He's got talking or cattling, its anagram. He's got carding and even cradling through the IN if he wants to go all the way up to the top row of this board. So you can eject a bunch of these consonants and score in the low to mid 20s. Joey's okay. He's just got to notice that spot.
Yeah, I agree. This is not as bad as it looks immediately. He's certainly going to see plays through that IN. It's just a question of which one you want to make. Do you want to open that triple? Like Matt said, put that C right there with cradling. That is your highest score, but it is quite dangerous. So we'll see what he decides to do. He's looking at carding right now, which is definitely safer, and the LT leave is pretty strong in its own right.
If I am going to play carding, it's likely not going to come up, but whatever word I play here, I want to make sure I know if it takes a back S or not. It's not a huge spot, but carding does take a back S. I think I'd be more inclined to play talking here.
Are you saying scarding?
No, back S.
Yeah, okay. Well, it doesn't really do anything if you hook that, but
You're right, it doesn't do much.
Yeah,
That's terrible analysis. Shut up, Matt.
it's okay. Yeah, carding, carling, the DT leave. I mean, we've discussed this before. D and the T don't go very well together, so I'd be surprised to see this being played over carding for 2 more points. But we'll see what Joey decides. Kenji's sitting on 4 vowels, duplicate O's. Nothing great, nothing terrible. Most likely, he's thinking, what happens if Joey just makes an overlap? Because this is basically what you expect after the play of a me, some overlap, something using this part of the board. So Kenji probably looking at oof here for 23, keeping EINT, that's very good. Maybe looking at some potential way to use fash, FONT. So Kenji definitely has the time advantage early, which is characteristic. Usually Joey is the faster player. Kenji can play fast too. So cradling coming down, that's going to change Kenji's thought process a lot. He's now looking straight at that C to see if he has a good play through it, or if Joey gave him a bingo. What do you do here with EIFNOOT?
Oh man. So oof feels like the pretty standard equity play. OOF and YO for 23 holds EINT. That's going to synergize well with the R and the D at the top of this board, help you bingo pretty often. It's hard to turn your nose at that, but Foodie through the D in cradling is 28. Oh, I'd spend a while staring at these two options. Likely going to be one of those two, though.
Yeah, the more I look at it, the only play I see that scores anything through the C is Infect, and that keeps 2 O's. And so early in this game, scores being close, you really don't want to keep terrible leaves. And duplicate O's is not something you'd like to see. That C isn't that dangerous that you need to sacrifice so much of your leave value to play through it. But I'd be staring at that C. I was like, why don't I have anything to play through there? So Foodie looks good. Oof looks, I think, a little bit slow. If you ask me, I think I go with Foodie. Take the extra points. I don't think it's worth fishing here.
Yeah, 28 versus 23, EINT versus NT. I think I'd play Foodie here as well. Extra points. EINT, when you do miss, feels pretty sad to work with. But Kenji's going to take the equity here. A simulation does like this play by about 2 points over other options. So oof for Kenji puts him in good shape to bingo next turn. Kenji threatening a bingo 52% of the time after this play. Joey threatening a bingo 100% of the time on this turn as he's found the first blank. He's got numerous options here. The best he can do is 72. I wonder how long he spends examining the 4 different options.
Yeah, I'm actually thinking now back at Kenji's turn. Maybe he plays Oof here, a small sacrifice, at least setting up a line for himself. But anyways, that turns over. It was interesting, and I definitely trust Kenji's instinct that keeping the strong leave is probably almost, if not worth, the point sacrifice. So Joey has found unbitter, it looks like, or unbitted. Is it unbitted?
Both are good. So unbitted is 72. Unbitter obstructs the C for 67. And I actually wonder, after Kenji's last play of OOF, how concerned are you about the C, R, and A up in space? Maybe you do actually want to block and make the point sacrifice here.
Yeah, it's very
Unbitter
interesting.
could seed big Q or X plays, but Kenji doesn't have the Q or the X almost ever after oof. In fact, the X is on the board. So what do you think, Josh?
Yeah, I think for the same reason that Kenji wasn't too concerned with that C, I think Unbitter might be slightly overreacting to the danger that C poses. He's going to play Unbitted. I definitely like this positioning and the extra points. It didn't matter. Kenji was going to bingo regardless. He has bingos on every side of the board here. So we're going to see some fireworks.
All right, yeah, EILNRTU, the rack now for Kenji. He's pulled well. He's got outliner for 70 from the O in oof. So Josh, Kenji did set himself up with a bingo line to bingo in, and he's going to execute the plan perfectly.
Yeah, and he's playing this so fast because players at this level, these high probability words using only 1 point tiles, they drill them like no other so that when they come up, they see them as soon as possible. So Kenji knows almost for a fact that this is his only decent bingo option after unbidded, and he does not hesitate to play it. Back to Joey. Still, only one vowel. He's had a few racks like this in this game, but he will be able to do something decent. He's looking at just playing Verl, keeping CNST, just hoping for a couple of vowels to help him out here. I think that looks very solid, Matt.
Yeah, that was the play, and Joey doesn't need to get caught up spending a lot of time on it. Kenji, though, has had a difficult post bingo draw. AEIIIOR. He's going to have to choose between getting rid of a bunch of Drek. He can do that with Aioli through the Ellen outliner for 10, or scoring more now, but keeping a riskier leave. Coria, Coria, plays from the C at the top of this board for 24. Josh, Aioli, Coria, or maybe a different approach here. What are you thinking?
At this point, I think I'm just going to sadly play Coria, keep 2 I's and an E. At this point, that C is the biggest scoring spot on the board. We have a slight lead. The IIE combination can go south a decent amount of the time, but can also fix itself in many different ways. If Kenji only draws a Q, he's threatening QI. If he draws a J, he has something like Jib or Jibe. There are many options. Like the Q is actually a really good draw here for Kenji, having QI in 2 spots. So I think I go for Coria. I sit on my 30 plus, or I sit on my very small lead. Oh, it's not a lead at all, actually. Tie the game up, let's just say. At this scoreline, though, I'm actually thinking more about Aioli.
With just one I left in the bag, I'm actually not as scared of that EII combination as I would typically be. But with 6 E's still out there, 5 A's still out there, maybe I am going to end up in vowel trouble. I don't know. I do think the 14 points is good here. And perhaps this is lazy analysis. In fact, I know this is lazy analysis. But when situations like this, one play gives me the lead and the other play leaves me behind, and I've got them neck and neck with each other, I just try to get in front of my opponent. Maybe that's not the best mathematical thinking, but psychologically, it feels good to take the lead.
I've thought about this myself too. Yeah, just being ahead just creates that safety net for you just in your mind. And what's crazy here is if Kenji plays Aioli, he is going to get smacked by the bingo that Joey has already lined up of Centrum. So this is actually an incredibly important decision. He doesn't know it, but he's just made the right read.
Wow, yeah, huge swing. Kenji blocking Joey's bingo with that decision. He's not going to realize until after the game when he does his analysis, but wow. If you are on Team Kenji, he just dodged a major bullet, momentum shifting in his direction. Now Joey's unlikely to score more than the mid-20s on this turn. CEMNSTU. I think we're going to see CUM alongside the left side of APO. 24 here.
Yeah, that's kind of weird, but it looks very strong. You're not hitting that double word score, but you're keeping ENST, which is one of the most powerful 4-tile leaves in the game. So yeah, I think that might be right. Joey also considering putting the S on that word for an extra few points, but I think you keep the S here.
Yeah, ENST is so strong, but this board is so weak for bingoing. Maybe it's okay to score the points. I'd rather hold it back, though. There's just enough you can do with it. You can play DOHS, you can play APOS. I think it's all right to hold back.
Yeah, the DOHS hook is the most important thing here. That is 7 squares long, so if Joey draws into a word starting with S, it will play unless Kenji blocks it. So I think that is the one thing. This and APOS being bingo lanes that pretty much cannot be blocked simultaneously. So I think that's what does it for me. The S isn't super strong. It's usually a bit stronger than this, but I think definitely worth keeping.
Josh, you seem to be the Scrabble whisperer. There were like 40-something tiles in the bag, and you're like, yeah, Kenji should draw the Q here. And he did. How did you do that?
Well, analysis, Matt, has proven that the word QI is the most played word in Scrabble, and every time I look up like just sort of the logs of a simulation when I'm looking over a game, it's like what's the most likely play the opponent's going to make? Every single turn it's QI, QI, QI. And mathematically, he played 4 tiles. He was, I don't know, like 1 in 5 to draw the Q at least. So something like that. But yes, I will take credit for that, Scrabble Whisperer. And Kenji just has to sit there. He's alphabetized his tiles. I don't know why. Like players do that when they have racks that might contain a bingo. You have a J and a Q. Thank you for alphabetizing your tiles for us. Probably. I don't think he's doing it for himself.
I mean, if you grab the Q and the I and then you push them aside away from the rest of your letters when you're a player that normally smashes all 7 together in the center of your rack, you are giving away some free information to your opponent. Perhaps you're confirming that you're going to make the most likely play of QI. So maybe there's that. I never realize or think about these things, but I actually was told by a player a couple summers ago, I can tell what kind of rack you have based on the way you shuffle your tiles. If I see 3 and 4, you're not going to bingo. You're going to play a short word. And if I see all 7 together, you're going to bingo. And I was like, man, you spend way too much time looking at me. But all right. Look at this from Joey. He's not going to play come. He's going to play mun and set up the front S hook to try to smash a bingo next turn. You like that, Josh?
Yeah, very nice adjustment here. CEST extremely strong. And now if he just draws a word that ends in S, it will play. So I like this a lot by Joey. I think that's actually better than the play of come. And QI comes down immediately.
QI comes down immediately. 44 for Kenji. He's up 263 to 235. ACENPST is Joey's post-fish draw. He did not find the bingo he was looking for, but he can threaten some big points. He's got plays through the R at the top of this board beneath Korea that score quite well, but he can also keep himself in strong bingo range with a shorter fish. What are you thinking here, Josh?
I'm not even seeing a play through that R. Carp something. What's really interesting, just carpet. Okay, that's pretty nice. What's interesting here is if you just play off a P, the likelihood of you bingoing next turn is so high. But you can play your P right here. Play pit and set up spit, which is probably not the right play, but a lot of the time it's going to work out fantastically for you if you're Joey Mallick. If you're Joey Mallick, you see there are 2 S's unseen, there's a blank unseen. You're never doing this in a million years. If you're Josh Sokol, you're thinking about it.
Content. We always love the content plays. This is another situation where a simulation is not the best tool to use. A play like Pit sims okay, but a player like Kenji will do everything he can to obstruct that spot. He might even play QI and PI. That's the most likely move according to the simulation, right, Josh? QI always, even if
with the second Q. Yeah, exactly. But yeah, unfortunate. Like it really felt like this was a great rack for Joey. He decides to play epic. He's going straight for the bingo. He sees there are tons of E's left. He's likely to redraw an E. Carpet was a lot of points, though. I probably would have done that given that the scores are so close.
Yeah, Pint also plays up top through that same R. I think Joey just didn't see the spot because if you can keep pretty bingo prone and score 32 instead of very bingo prone and score 20, you probably want to take the points there. Maybe a misplay from Joey. And to the point we made earlier, Joey would have taken the lead if he played Carpet or Arpent. Instead, he is still behind in this one. And that's not the draw he was looking for either. Ooh, going to be a tricky turn for Joey. Kenji on turn AAEEGIJ. Oh boy, what is he going to do?
Yeah, this is a fascinating position. There doesn't seem to be anything jumping out to play here. If you want to play AJI and Muni, you're gonna get hit really, really hard a huge amount of the time. But that might be worth it. I mean, it's so much better than anything else in terms of points and leave, right?
Uh, I think if you're going to make a 3-tile play there, you're going to play Jag or Jig and Mung instead. But Kenji plays it.
No fear. And he's not gonna get hurt. I mean, he probably is seeing the play of Epic, assuming Joey's keeping 1-point tiles. Does Joey even have a bingo here?
No.
Yeah, this is not good. Because he's taking a nice lead with this play, and Joey, is he gonna play NO underneath? That would be a little insane, right?
Would it? Yeah.
It would be, yeah, it would be
Yeah.
crazy, but you know, Kenji just made a crazy daring play. Why not? Why not both? Why not
Yeah.
me too?
I was wild. And the fact that Kenji just like
Wow.
did it. And then Joey's doing this. Like, all right, we're just doing the top play on Quackle every turn, I guess.
That's hilarious. Both of these players just fearlessly taking their best score and leave. This looks so crazy. You can get hit by. I bet you Kenji's average score is well over 50 after this play.
Yeah.
Setting up the triple triples, setting up the overlaps. Yeah, Joey's not going to get hurt that bad.
Kenji averages 60 after no.
And just for the sake of the audience, the average score in a Scrabble game at the top level is in the 30s. So this is a little bit more than that.
Just a smidge. And that's on a random rack, and you have to assume Kenji actually has a better than random rack a good amount of the time. Anyway, okay. No is what we see here. AADEEGR, the rack for Kenji, and he's not going to be able to score the 60, but he does have 44 or 47, depending on what he opts to do. Aged or its anagram EGAD seem to be pretty straightforward plays. If he wants to go longer, he can play Agreed and go digging into the bag. The fact that Joey played no and he played it that fast makes me think he does not have a blank on his rack. He would have looked for triple triples or would have bingoed. So I would go Agreed here. I'd go as deep into this tile bag as I can.
Yeah, if it weren't for the fact that there was already a sevens lane here under the E of Epic, I would not want to open this lane. But because that already exists, I think taking the points, just going for some scoring tiles when you have the lead is a very solid choice here by Kenji. I don't think keeping the ARE is at all worth it here. The S hook on Smash is still there. There's still a lot of danger, as Joey's going to show with the play of Ernest. And this is going to be a key draw for Kenji Matsumoto, keeping AE in a pretty constant heavy pool with a blank out, with a Z out, and he's drawn incredibly well. So this is very, very good for Kenji Matsumoto. He's going to respond with the bingo in earnest.
Is he? Okay, I think he is. I'm looking at the unseen pool. If Kenji bingos, he empties the bag, he draws the last 6 out, and if he gets bingoed back on, he instantly loses. So Kenji might try to slow down pace a bit and think about waiting just one turn. There are enough bingo lines on this board that I think you could afford to pass a bingo and get all but guarantee a bingo next turn. But I think this unseen pool is too unwieldy. HKWUZ all there. It's unlikely Joey's going to hit you with a bingo bango combination. I think Kenji's safe to bingo here and clinch this one.
Yeah, no, it's a very interesting thought, Matt. In positions like this where your rack is certainly far, far, far better than your opponent's, and the scores are close, if you have enough spots to bingo, it's very much worth considering not bingoing. I think here the unseen pool is that bad that it feels like it's not worth it. But I think it's worth considering playing something 1 or 2 tiles, seeing how likely you are to redraw into a bingo, which if I play 2 tiles, I guess I could draw WZ or KZ or something really bad and not bingo next turn. So in that case, the fact that some draws are not going to do it for you, I think either you have to play 1 tile or you have to just go for the bingo. But this idea of waiting is very strong, very high level as well. And Kenji's certainly going to be thinking about that if he's a little bit worried. He's in such a strong position. So when you're in such a strong position, like Kenji is, you do want to think about how can I lose this game and try to potentially prepare for that.
I tried to open up the details on Quackle to see just how often Joey pulls a bingo out of this bag, and Quackle exploded, just immediately crashed. So I can't get you the answers to that question, but looking at the pool, it's not too often. There are certain things in there like brailed and brails and hailers and all that, but whalers, bladers. But I think if you're Kenji, you do need to just go ahead and bingo now. If you saw retinas times 2 in that unseen pool, it's probably better to wait, but this pool's not great.
Yeah, this is crazy though. So there's no bingo here. If you have a bingo here, I think you're just playing it. All of Kenji's bingos are not so strong. And so considering the game we saw yesterday where Kenji completely failed to find a threat with the Z that Carl Johnson was ready to smash him with, he's probably giving this some thought. First of all, he's making sure he doesn't have a bingo here, and that takes a long time. And it's a good thing he left himself with a lot of time. But once he realizes or assumes there's no bingo there, he's going to want to look at how much can Joey Mallick actually score on this line. He doesn't even necessarily need to bingo. Kenji's going to draw 6 tiles out of the bag. And if I do bingo, what am I giving back? If he plays oranges, for example, that puts the G right here. What if Joey responds with zigs or zags for 72? Suddenly he's ahead 20 in the endgame. So this is not simple at all. And the more I look at it, the more I wonder, do you pass up the bingo?
Oh man, I'm trying to find Z plays on the right side of this board, something like a Colza that would front hook the E, and I don't see one that's there. I do worry if I bingo now and I draw the Z, am I going to eat it? Is that possible?
I don't think so. There's something like Shiraz. I don't think there might not be anything that ends in ZA. Shiraz, Zebra. Zebra will play, but those are enough to tie the game up, and that's the problem. The timing is so bad. Drawing 6 tiles, Kenji might not like his position enough to play the bingo. So this is really interesting. What we do know is Joey does not have the Z. He does not have a good rack, and what's left in the pool is AE and the Z and the S, and Kenji is surely going to win if he plays his bingo. But he doesn't know that. There's a lot to think about here, and Kenji's taking his time, rightly so. It feels like you should be in a better position than Kenji is in with this rack and with this score, but it's not clear.
Yeah, you see Kenji reached into the bag and double counted. He's looking at all the possibilities, and especially, as Josh said, the way Kenji lost previously on stream in a situation where he was in commanding position and then got hit by a surprise Z play and lost everything. You're going to take your time. Those kinds of things haunt you at a Scrabble tournament. And I don't know if you can attest to this, Josh, but I feel like for me, when I play tournaments, they seem to have a theme where like either I draw a bunch of vowels at the end of every game, or there's always like a JQXZ play lurking at the end, or my opponent's always in super bingo range at the end. Maybe that's the theme of Kenji's tournament or what he's trying to avoid. Big Z plays at the end that hurt me.
Yeah, if Joey has the Z, he has the possibility of having a great number of threatening options in the end game. The timing is just that bad. You see Kenji down 17, if you're thinking, well, he's going to be up 50 points after a bingo. Sometimes that's not enough. In end games specifically, it's important to be up around 30 points to sort of have that cushion, because your opponent's going to be first to act. They're going to be able to do a sequence and go out before you a large majority of the time. And so Kenji's probably seeing, like, if Joey has a pretty good rack here, even something like Blitz, just BLZ off of his rack and then an outplay next turn is quite threatening. Kenji needs to draw something high scoring to counter stuff like that. It looks okay. It looks okay. It looks like Kenji should bingo, but he's definitely not going to be locked into the win if he does, and he knows that already.
Yeah, I wonder what percentage win Kenji's putting in his own head right now. We have engines, as long as they don't crash, that are able to roughly spitball this for us. Quackle was suggesting that depending on Kenji's choice of bingo, he's actually somewhere between 80 and 92%. But he's got so many different bingo options. There's a reasonable case to be made that he should pass the bingo. And so much of the beauty of these pre-end game situations is getting that number as close to 100 as possible. 100% is not doable, but can I get to 90? Can I get to 92? Can I get to 94? That's the question for Kenji. This is tough.
A lot of Scrabble games are pretty much decided before the last move, but especially at the top level, there's a good chance that it is going to depend on that final draw, who wins the game. Sometimes it's a toss-up. Sometimes you can maybe win a small amount of the time if you draw 1 in 8 letters, let's say, if there's one tile in the bag. Sometimes you're in a very good position, but you have to make as sure as possible you're maximizing your winning chances. 80 and 92%, that is a huge amount of difference. And it could make every difference in this game. We do know that if Kenji bingos, he wins. He's going to play mangoes or tangos. We're going to have to get a look at that blank. This makes a lot of sense. This doesn't create a big Z spot that Joey can use to score 60, 70 points. It does sacrifice a significant amount of points. That is an M. He's taking it off, though. He's unsure. He's got 5 minutes to consider this. Kenji probably only needs around 2 minutes for most of these endgames, so he has some time to reconsider.
I don't know. Now Joey is able to track those tiles off and start thinking about this end game. With 9 minutes, time was unlikely to be a factor no matter what, but I wouldn't have shown Joey my letters until I was absolutely 100% positively sure of the play I was going to make. Alas, here it comes. Mangoes. He's not changing the blank designation. And he's hit the clock.
And he's just trying to fade those huge plays on the left side, potentially some very strong endgame sequences by Joey. But once he sees that Z, once he sees that AE, I think Kenji's going to realize he's locked in. Now, Joey to act with DHILRUW probably has to play something like Whirl. Oh, that doesn't work. Whirl and LE. I wonder what he does. I wonder what his best endgame is. It's probably not very good.
Yeah, I can't tell you with my Quackle having crashed. I'm trying to get caught up, but I'm trying to talk at the same time. It's not happening.
Oh, so he's lined up Lurid, which looks very good. Keeping the HW, you can play HW here, you can play HW here. So it's going to be a little bit close, but yeah, Joey down 50 now. He doesn't have the best tiles he could have had. This is actually a pretty bad draw for him after Ernest. And Kenji's going to score close to 30 or 40 in this endgame. So Lurid coming down. Joey knows he's lost. He's not going to hesitate any longer. 7:47 left on his clock. Back to Kenji with ABEKSZ. And something like Says and Toys jumps out. He's probably going to take a little bit of time just to make sure he's making the absolute best move. As we've mentioned before on stream, the tiebreak used in Scrabble tournaments is the entire differential between all of the games you and your opponents have played. We call that spread. Kenji's going to try and make the absolute best move here. This is chess. This is the part of Scrabble that is chess. You know what your opponent has. You have full information. You can make the absolute best play, mathematically speaking, and it might be important later on.
Yeah, Kenji will retain first place position after this win here. I'm double checking that Robin didn't win huge. No, Robin lost last game. So Kenji was in first by 140 spread points coming in. And barring Mac Meller completely blowing Robin out in the next game, Kenji will retain first place. Joey Mallick will drop to 7-3. And there are so many players at 6-3 right now. This thing is wide open. Nobody above 7-2 in this NWL field. Oh, this is shaping up to be a spicy nationals.
Yeah, it's looking really interesting. A very good start by Kenji. One of his better starts. He's always been a player to look after, to look forward to watching, and a player to keep your eye out on for every nationals that he plays. He's lined up Zerk, which is his best play, blocking Wit for 30 and scoring very well with the Z and the K. That looks very nice. He's probably not going to take too much longer. As I say that, comes down 25 points, bringing Kenji Matsumoto to 429 to Joey Mallick's 383. I think Joey's best play now scores 17, so he will make it to that 400 mark, and he will get 10 points from Kenji's rack, finalizing the score at 410 to 429. So like we said, kind of close, and Joey's rack wasn't even that good. But yeah, Kenji avoided disaster there. Let's listen to the overhead mic to see if they have anything to say.
Yeah. I see what you mean.
Yeah. That was easy. That was easy. Like LNTTW with SH. I almost played NTH there, mistake, making a gift.
That was interesting.
It
Didn't work, but then
AENST. Seemed pretty obvious. Crazy as that looked. Could remember CUMS was good. That was just, but yeah, that was that. Yeah, like you said up there. So I say CEST. You want centrums, but that was unexpected. Yeah. No triple that unbidded. I think I dodged most of the bullets at least. HT was my first track. What did you do? What about hard to see that coming, obviously. Everything good. It's supposed to valve. Ready to spare these.
Okie doke. Just a little inside scoop on what the players were thinking in that game. Joey asking Kenji what he would do with the opening rack. Kenji tends not to honestly answer those questions in the postmortem. Yeah, we liked a different opening play for Joey, but both these guys played really well. This was a very nice game.